Hello and welcome to The Hindu. I am Priyali Prakash and you're watching Tipping Point, our weekly show where we dive into climate change events and the trends shaping our future. In today's episode, we'll take a look at the carbon emissions from the Arctic Tundra, Cyclone Chido, and the cancelled coal case in South Africa. Our main story today is about a worrying trend that has been noted in the Arctic Tundra region. Before we dive into this report, let's quickly brush up on the geography of biomes. The Earth is divided into different regions based on the type of climate which exists there and the kind of vegetation and animal life it supports. These regions are called biomes. For example, the climate in a desert is very different from that in a tropical rainforest, and so are the animals that live there and the trees that grow in the region. Tundra is one such biome. It is the coldest geographical region on the Earth and exists just below the Arctic ice caps and in high altitude areas on top of very high mountains. Permafrost is one of the main characteristics of the tundra region, which is a layer of permanently frozen subsurface. The 2024 Arctic Report Card, prepared by the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, found some concerning trends in this biome. The report says that the Arctic Tundra region is transforming into a carbon source from a carbon sink. This means that the region which previously stored carbon away from the atmosphere is now adding to it, while we are already struggling to keep emissions under control to regulate global warming. Frequent wildfires are one of the main reasons why the Arctic Tundra is becoming an overall source of carbon to the atmosphere. 97 scientists from 11 countries contributed to the 2024 Arctic Report Card, and research found that the Arctic annual surface air temperatures were the second warmest since 1900. In early August 2024, a heat wave set the all-time record for daily temperatures in parts of northern Alaska and Canada. The last 9 years have been the warmest on record in the Arctic, and summer 2024 across the Arctic was the wettest on record. NASA says that the precipitation in the area without the changing climate should be low, in the range of 150 to 200 millimeters a year, including melted snow. This rainfall is less than some deserts in the world. For comparison, average annual rainfall in India's Thar Desert is around 250 millimeters. Despite low rainfall, the Arctic Tundra is a wet region because extremely low temperatures mean that the water does not evaporate too quickly, which is why an increase in the average temperature of the region and the overall heating experienced in recent years are detrimental to the critical balance there. It's normal for climate to vary a bit from its average, but as Gerald Frost, a senior scientist with Alaska Biological Research, said, the extremes observed in Arctic tundra are a result of long-term persistent changes. The report also found that populations of migratory Arctic tundra caribou, the North American reindeer, have declined by 65% over the last 2 to 3 decades. This is primarily because of warmer temperatures, changes in winter snowfall, and increased human activity in the region. Rain on snow makes it difficult for caribou to access food. Their diet also includes lichen, but as precipitation patterns change, taller shrubs are growing in the Arctic tundra, which crowd the lichen. Wildfires around the polar region have emitted around 207 million tons of carbon on average annually since 2003. The Arctic is also a consistent source of methane, which is another greenhouse gas and contributes to global warming. On December 14, a powerful cyclone hit Mayotte, a territory of France in the Indian Ocean between Madagascar and Mozambique on the African continent. This is reportedly the worst storm to hit the French territory in more than 90 years, and it hit the area with wind speeds more than 200 kilometers per hour. Chido brought intense rain to Mayotte, causing flash floods on the islands. Mayotte felt the full force of Chido because there was no landmass in its way to dissipate the impact. According to a local French official, it is possible that thousands of people may have been killed because of the cyclone. It will take some time to learn the exact toll caused by the cyclone in the territory. Chido developed in the southeastern Indian Ocean basin between December 7 and 8 as a tropical depression. It then moved westward and strengthened to the severe typhoon category 4 by December 10th. It did weaken again to Category 3 on December 13th. After Mayotte, tropical cyclone made landfall in Mozambique on December 15th, with winds as strong as 80 km per hour, thunderstorms and heavy rainfall. According to the Southern African Development Community Humanitarian and Emergency Operations Center, the storm has affected more than 24,000 people. It has destroyed almost 6,000 houses. Relief Web's preliminary investigation indicates that around 160,000 people in Cabo Delgado province of Mozambique need assistance. Apart from damaging buildings, Chido has also disrupted communications and electricity supply in the affected area. Let's end today's episode on a hopeful note from South Africa. Civil organizations registered a landmark victory against fossil fuel power in South Africa on December 4th, when the High Court of Pretoria ruled that the government's plan for a new coal-fired power plant was unlawful. The ruling overturned the government's plan to add 1,500 megawatts of coal-fired power to South Africa's national grid. The case was brought by youth-led organizations, including the African Climate Alliance, the Vukani Environmental Justice Movement in Action, and the Groundwork Trust, represented by the Center for Environmental Rights. The court ruled that the government could not provide evidence that it has considered the impact of the power plant on the environment and the health of the people, especially children. Climate experts hope that the case can act as a precedent in the future matters that affect environment and can help tackle climate change. Thank you for watching today's episode of Tipping Point. If you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to subscribe to The Hindu for more updates and in-depth climate coverage.